Hello students. So today I'm not going to take any new topics. I'm planning to do the revision of your pre-midterm examination. So many of you have sent message to me asking the portions for your pre-midterm. So it is only one chapter. So the first chapter, only the first chapter is there for your pre-midterm examination. So chemical reactions and equations. Okay. So why I have reduced the chapters means I want you to study it completely. Study as if you are going to write the board examination itself. You know that you are staying at your own home. You are writing the examination also from your home itself. But I want you to write this exam very sincerely. No one is there to check whether you are copying it. I know that there may be a tendency for you to check if any of the answers is not known to you. You can check it, but be sincere yourselves. You are going to write the board examination, so be sincere in your examination. Study properly, study well, and if there is any doubt you must ask to me and clear it, then appear for the examinations. Okay. So as we have planned, 50% of the questions will be the MCQ type. We will be conducting it in the Google form itself, just like how we are doing the normal class test. Then now what I'm going to do for the revision class is that now I will give you exactly what all things that we have studied under the chemical reactions and equations. I will show you these all things that you need to take care of. Okay, so you have to read your textbook carefully, read each and every line that is given in your textbook. Then you have to study whatever that is given in your notebook also. Okay, so you have to be thorough with your textbook and the notebook. Then after that revision video, I have given previously asked board examination questions also. We cannot expect the direct questions from in 10th standard. We cannot expect the direct questions. Most probably it will be indirect one, application level. So just to go through, these all are the types of the questions that has been asked from the first chapter. Many of you have asked me the portions that is reduced in the CBSE, but CBSE hasn't reduced any of the topics from the first chapter or from the second chapter. There are certain topics that has reduced from the other chapters, but first chapter and the second chapter complete portions are there. There is no reduction in your portion, so you have to study completely. Okay, so watch it and do the practice questions, and you can also download lot of previously asked questions from your net also. Do it regularly, do it, and attend the examination perfectly. Okay, best of luck for your examinations.
Let us look at what all we have studied under this chapter: chemical reactions and equations. Chemical reactions and equations. In the beginning, we have studied about what is meant by a chemical reaction, right? Hope you remember it. What is a chemical reaction? How can we express this chemical reaction in terms of chemical equation, right? Chemical equation. How can we represent a chemical reaction in terms of chemical reaction? In terms of chemical equation, right? In a chemical equation, there are two main things are there, right? Do you remember what all there? We have the reactants, which we used to write at the left side, and there are products which we are writing in the right side. So reactants and the products are present in a chemical equation. Then what else will be there, right? Then we have studied that suppose if we are this chemical reaction, if it is taking at a particular temperature, or if it is taking at a particular pressure, right? And if it requires any heat, if we need to heat it, that tool we will represent in the above the arrow, right? Reactants and the products are separated by an arrow. On the top of the arrow we'll be writing whether this reaction requires heating, whether a particular temperature is needed, whether a particular pressure is needed. That all things we will represent on the top of the arrow, right? Then we need to write the state in which each reactants and the products are existing. right? The state in which the reactants and the products are existing. That means if it is in the gaseous state, will represent as G. If it's a solid state, will represent as S. And if it is in the liquid state, will represent as L. And if it in the aqueous state, will represent as AQ. Right? These all we have studied in the beginning of the chapter. Then we have studied about how to balance a chemical reaction. Balance a chemical reaction, right? This is really important. Balancing a chemical reaction is really important because a reaction should be balanced. That we have studied in the 9th standard one, law of conservation of mass, right? According to that, the mass of the reactants and the products, that is mass of the substances before the reaction and after the reaction are same. So we need to balance a chemical reaction. I hope you remember how to balance it, right? So when you write a chemical reaction, for example, H2 plus O2 gives H2O. How do we balance it, right? How do we balance it? First you need to write all the state in which it is existing. Gaseous state, oxygen is in the gaseous state, H2O is in the liquid state, right? Then how will you balance it? First you need to check the number of hydrogen atom. Check the number of hydrogen atom over here. 2 atoms of hydrogen are here. What about the right side? Again 2 atoms of hydrogen are there. Now look at the oxygen. How many atoms of oxygen are there in the left side? 2 atoms. But here only 1 atom. So what do you need to do? You need to make this oxygen also as 2. So what should I do? You need to write 2 over here. So that means oxygen is 2. But now what happened to hydrogen? Now it has became 4 over here. So what should I do here? I need to write 2 over here. Then hydrogen also became 4. Oxygen 2. Here also 2. Right? So this is how we have balanced a chemical reaction. After checking, there's a very important part of this chapter. Balancing a chemical reaction is very important. It will be asked. Either you will be given in terms of chemical equation, right? Otherwise, sometimes it will be given in terms of chemical equation itself, just like how I wrote it over here. But sometimes it can be given in the form of word equation. Word equation means it will be given as hydrogen is reacting with oxygen to give out water. They will give in a sentence wise only. Word only will be given. They won't give the chemical formulas. So when you study this chapter, the first thing that you need to study is to write the chemical formulas. Just revise whatever that we have studied under chemical formula. We are written at the beginning of the class. So we have written in the notebook all the chemical formulas that is needed, right? So study the chemical formulas first. So you begin it with the studying the chemical formulas, because normally if it is given in terms of word equation, you need to balance it, right? So first you need to know the chemical formula, then only you will be able to write about the equation, then only you will be able to balance it. Okay, so that's about the balancing of a chemical equation. Then what we have studied is about the types of chemical reaction. Types of chemical reaction. Okay, that's the next topic we have studied. Types of chemical reaction. So the chemical reactions are of different types. So one by one we can write it about it. Okay, so first one we have studied is about, so the first type of chemical reaction we have studied is the combination reaction. Combination reaction. Then what is the second one? So combination reaction. Then we have studied about the decomposition reaction. Decomposition reaction. Then decomposition reactions are of different types, right? Decomposition reaction can take place in 3 ways. What are they? What are the 3 ways by which a decomposition reaction can take place? Thermal decomposition is the thermal decomposition, right? Then electrolytic decomposition. Electrolytic decomposition. And the last one is the photolytic decomposition. Photolytic decomposition, right? Then Then we have studied about after the decomposition reaction, we have studied about the displacement reaction. Displacement reaction, right? Then we have studied about the double displacement. Double displacement. Double displacement. And the last category we have studied is about the oxidation reduction reaction. Oxidation reduction reaction. So combination reaction, decomposition reaction, displacement reaction, double displacement reaction, oxidation and reduction reaction. Combination reaction. Combination reaction. When you study the combination reaction, lot of things that you need to study is about. First, you need to study what is a combination reaction. General formula: A plus B giving AB. General formula. Study its examples. Examples are mandatory. You need to study about the examples. Then combination reaction is an exothermic reaction. So what is meant by an exothermic reaction? Its examples also. Then the decomposition reaction is just the opposite of the combination. That is, EB gives A plus B. So when you study the decomposition reaction, you need to study about the thermal decomposition, electrolytic decomposition, photolytic decomposition also. Then about its examples. So when you study the decomposition reaction, you need to study about the endothermic reaction also. Its example are also needed. Then the displacement reaction. What is a displacement reaction? So when you're studying the displacement reaction, more reactive metal is displacing the less reactive metal from its solution. Here what you need to concentrate is about what you need to study is about the reactivity series. This chart I have given, reactivity series. You need to study about the reactivity series, the order of the reactive power of the metals. Then only you will be able to know which metal can displace the which metals. So you need to study that chart, which metals are more reactive, which metals are less reactive. That table also you need to study. Then only you will be able to know which metal is displacing the which metal. Okay, which metal is more reactive, which metal is medium level reactive. All those things you'll be understand if you know the reactivity series. Then when you study the double displacement, again double displacement means mutual transfer of the ions is taking place. So here you need to study about the precipitation reaction, right? Precipitation. So sub reactions are also there. Its examples are also needed. Okay, so this is a chart of the types of chemical reaction that you need to study. Read the textbook well. After reading the textbook, you compare it with the notebook. Study all the things that is given in the note, plus you need to read the textbook also. Okay. Next we have studied about the oxidation reduction reaction, right? Oxidation reduction reaction, it is very important, right? Oxidation, what is an oxidation reaction? What is a reduction reaction? Its examples. Then a particular reaction, if both are taking place, we call them as the redox reaction, right? Redox reaction. If both the oxidation and reduction are taking place, we call them as the redox reaction. Its examples are also needed. So which one is undergoing oxidation? Which reactant is undergoing reduction? That is more important. You will be given one equation and you will be asked to write which one is undergoing oxidation and which one is undergoing reduction. Okay. And the last part we have studied is about oxidation reaction. You need to study about the two main phenomena, that is two main applications of the oxidation reaction. It can cause corrosion, right? It can cause rancidity. So these are the two effects of oxidation: corrosion, rancidity. How can we prevent it? How can we prevent corrosion and rancidity? So take topic by topic and study everything. Now let us look at some of the questions that is asked in your board examination.
So the first question is, state one industrial application of reduction process. So in lot of industrial application is there, but still we are studying in one chapter. The next chapter, metals and non-metals, one of the industrial application of reduction, that is the metallurgical process. Metallurgical process means you know about the ores, right? Ores are the minerals from which we are extracting metals, right? So in that process, the extraction of metals from its ores, for that we are using the reduction process. Okay, the second question is, which one is a chemical change, rusting of iron or melting of iron? Obviously, the chemical change will be the rusting of iron itself. State one basic difference between a physical change and a chemical change. This question has been asked many times. So in physical change, no new substance is formed, while in chemical change, new substance will be formed. Next question, which one is a chemical change? Again, fermentation of fruit juice or diluting fruit juice. Obviously fermentation, for only in fermentation that the chemical reactions are taking place. Diluting means we are adding water to it, right? So fermentation of the fruit juice is a chemical change. Next question, which one of the following is a chemical change? Give the reason also. Burning of wax and melting of wax. So burning of wax is an so what will happen when we burn a wax means, when we burn it, it will produce carbon dioxide, and water is also produced, mainly the carbon dioxide itself. So water droplets are also getting produced. So it's a irreversible change. We know that new substance is getting formed for a chemical change. So burning of wax is an example for chemical change. Next question, if copper metal is heated over a flame, it develops a coating. What is the color and composition of this coating? This we have studied before. When the copper is heating, when we are heating it, heating means reaction with the oxygen. So when the copper is heating, it will produce copper oxide, right? CuO, it will form copper oxide. What is the color of copper oxide? It is black in color, right? All decomposition reactions are endothermic. Explain why. What is the reason for that? All decomposition reactions are endothermic. We know that for all the decomposition reactions, we need to have energy, right? Some sort of energy should be supplied, either in the form of heat, or light, or electricity. Then only a compound will get broken down into simpler products. So decomposition reactions is a endothermic. It needs energy. Then in the electrolysis of water, why is the volume of gas collected over one electrode is double than that of the gas collected over the other electrode? So it is mainly because when we are doing the electrolysis, water will split into form hydrogen and oxygen. Then you balance that equation. Then you will get 2H2O gives 2H2 and O2. So the products are 2H2 and O2. So it is in the ratio of 2:1, right? Hydrogen's amount of hydrogen is double than that of the oxygen. So that's the reason. So during the electrolysis, hydrogen and oxygen is produced, but the hydrogen is in excess quantity, right? It is in the ratio of 2:1. Which one is a chemical change? Electrolysis of water or sodium chloride exposed to sunlight? What will be sodium chloride? When it is exposed to sunlight, nothing will happen, but electrolysis of water is a chemical change. So water will undergo electrolysis to produce hydrogen and oxygen. Now, what is meant by skeletal equation? Skeletal equation means the unbalanced chemical equation is known as the skeletal equation. So the next question. On adding dilute hydrochloric acid to copper oxide powder, the solution formed is blue-green. Predict the new compound formed which imparts a blue-green color to the solution. So when we add hydrochloric acid to copper oxide, so it's a reaction between copper oxide and hydrochloric acid. So this reaction we have studied, right? So when copper oxide CuO plus HCl gives CuCl2, copper chloride will be formed. So copper chloride is having a blue-green color. So you write that the new compound formed is copper chloride. It will give a blue-green color to the solution. Next question. What happens when quicklime is added to water? What is quicklime? Calcium oxide. So when calcium oxide is added to water,
it will react vigorously and will form the calcium hydroxide. Calcium hydroxide is silicate lime, and it is a highly exothermic reaction too, right? So reaction of calcium oxide plus water with calcium hydroxide is an exothermic reaction. It will liberate a lot of heat energies also. Okay. So the next question, write a balanced chemical equation. They have given the equation also, you just need to balance it. Make sure that all the elements, the number of atoms are same on both the sides, reactant side and the product side. What happens when zinc carbonate is NCO3? Zinc carbonate is heated in the presence of air. So zinc carbonate is heating. So it's a reaction with the oxygen, right? Is heated in the absence of air. Absence of air means we should not add O2 over there. You just need to zinc carbonate, put an arrow, give the relevant equation. So when zinc carbonate is heated means it is undergoing decomposition reaction, right? So the decomposition reaction by heating, that is thermal decomposition reaction. Zinc carbonate on thermal decomposition gives zinc oxide and carbon dioxide. So write the equation also. Next, name and state the law which is kept in mind while we balance a chemical equation. So we know that law is law of conservation of mass, right? Next question, why are decomposition reactions called the opposite of combination reaction? This is given in the textbook also, right? So combination reaction, two substances combining to form a one compound, while decomposition reactions, a compound is broken down into two or more substances. So they are opposite to each other. Next question, state the type of chemical reaction used for extraction of metals from their naturally occurring chlorides or oxides. So it is an electrolytic reduction. So chemical reaction used for the extraction of metals. Now this we will study more about this in the metals and non-metals chapter. The electrolytic reduction. Next question, why is photosynthesis considered as an endothermic reaction? Because photosynthesis, heat is absorbed in the process, right? For photosynthesis, we need heat energy, so we are absorbing heat, so it is an endothermic reaction. Next, why is hydrogen peroxide kept in colored bottles? So it should be hydrogen peroxide, it should be kept under the colored bottle. Otherwise, what will happen means it will undergo photolytic decomposition. H2O2, for hydrogen peroxide is H2O2. H2O2 in the presence of sunlight will undergo decomposition to form water and oxygen. So in order to avoid that photolytic decomposition, we are keeping it in a colored bottle so that sunlight won't enter into that. Next question is N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3. So name the type of reaction. So here two reactants are there. It is reacting together to give out a single product. So it is a combination reaction. Next question, why should a magnesium ribbon be cleaned before burning in air? A magnesium ribbon should be cleaned before burning it in air. Why? So this question is there in your NCERT textbook itself, but no, this question has asked many times for your board examinations too. So the answer is a magnesium ribbon should be cleaned before burning in air, because magnesium, when it is exposed to air, it will react slowly with the oxygen and form magnesium oxide over the. So magnesium will contain, it has a layer of magnesium oxide on the top of it. So this magnesium oxide, that layer should be removed before burning it in air. So that is why we are rubbing it, we are cleaning the surface of the magnesium before burning, because it contains a layer of magnesium oxide over there. So that should be removed. Next question, why do we apply paint on iron article? So it is to prevent the corrosion, or to prevent from rusting. Rusting is a corrosion, right? So oil and fat containing food items are flushed with nitrogen. Why? Again, it is flushing with the nitrogen because it will prevent the food items from getting oxidized. So the food items will be preserved for a long time without any spoiling. So that is why we are flushing it with the nitrogen. Next question is identify the type of reaction from the following. So 4 reactions are given over there. You need to identify the type of chemical reaction. So the first one is CH4 plus O2 gives CO2 and H2O.
So this reaction we haven't studied. This is a combustion reaction. So this reaction we will study in the further chapters. The second one is PbNO3 twice plus 2Ki gives PbI2 plus 2KNO3. So here the mutual transfer of ions has taken place over here. So it's an example for double displacement reaction. Next question, CaO plus H2 gives CaOH twice. Again, two reactants are there reacting together to give out a single product. So it is a combination reaction. The fourth one, again CuSO4 plus Zn gives ZnSO4 plus Cu. So more reactive Zn is replacing copper from the copper sulfate solution. So the displacement reaction has been taken place over there. So when you're getting a chemical reaction, identify which type of reaction it is by checking out what has happened to their reaction. What has happened to their reactants. So this type of questions I was asked mainly from this chapter. So it's an important type of question that was seeing in the board examination. So the next question, why is respiration considered as an exothermic reaction? So this question we have discussed earlier, right? Respiration is an exothermic reaction because during respiration, what will happen is oxygen, we are inhaling oxygen. So this oxygen will help us for the breaking down of the glucose molecules into energies. Okay, it will release carbon dioxide, water, and energy is also getting liberated out. So it is an exothermic reaction. So the next question, why are decomposition reactions called the opposite of combination reaction? So this question we have discussed before, right? So write the equation for these reactions, write any of the examples for these reaction also. Next, in the refining of silver, the recovery of silver from silver nitrate solution involves displacement by copper metal. Write down the reaction involved. Or the other question is, what can be seen when a strip of copper metal is placed in a solution of silver nitrate? Okay. Anyway, this is a reaction between silver nitrate and copper. So write silver nitrate AgNO3 plus Cu. Again, we know that copper is more reactive than silver. Again, you need to study the reactivity series. So what will happen? Displacement reaction will take place. So Ag will get displaced and will have copper, nitrate and silver atoms will be produced over there. Next question is, state the reason for the following. First one, potato chips manufacturers usually flush bags of chips with nitrogen gas. This we have discussed, right, to prevent oxidation or prevent the rancidity. Iron particles lose their shine gradually. What is happening over here? Iron particles get corroded, right? So it will because of the corrosion. Next one, food should be kept in an airtight containers. Why we are keeping the food in airtight containers? Again, to prevent the oxidation. Okay, the next question is, what is meant by precipitation reaction? That we have discussed when we are doing the double displacement reaction, right? The reaction in which a precipitate is formed, we call it as a precipitation reaction. An insoluble substance will be formed, that we call it as a precipitate. Explain by giving an example. You need to write an example. The common example is between sodium sulfate and barium chloride. That reaction is given in your textbook. Study it. Okay, you need to write the state in which each molecules are present over there also. Next, what is the difference between displacement reaction and double displacement reaction? Okay, with the examples you need to explain it. So what is a displacement reaction? What is a double displacement reaction? An example is also you can write for both of it. So displacement reaction, in this reaction more reactive element will displaces a less reactive element from a salt solution. But double displacement means mutual transfer, that is exchange of the ions will take place. Displacement reaction is a very slow one and it will take longer time for their completion. The other one, double displacement, is much more faster one. It will take place instantaneously. Then displacement reaction, during this reaction usually some color change will happen over there. Okay, but for the double displacement, color changes won't be there. Normally a precipitate will be formed over there. Okay. Next question is, a small amount of quicklime is added to water in a beaker. Name and define the type of reaction has taken place. So what is a quicklime? Okay, so it is reacting with the water. What will be happening over here? So it's a combination reaction. Quicklime is calcium oxide just reacting with the water to form calcium hydroxide. So it's a combination reaction. And define about the combination reaction too. State two observation that you will make in this reaction. First one is calcium oxide. It will react very vigorously and it will liberate out large amount of heat energy also, right? Next is, what is redox reaction? Identify the substance oxidized and the substance produced in the following reaction. Again, what is a redox reaction? The reaction in which both the oxidation and reduction are taking place. We call them as a redox reaction. So first question, PbO plus C gives Pb plus CO2. So which one is getting reduced and which one is getting oxidized? So oxidation means addition of oxygen. Now first what happened? PbO is changing into Pb. So PbO is changing into Pb. So what change has occurred over here? Oxygen is getting removed, right? Removal of oxygen, we call it as a reduction. So PbO is reduced. Now what happened to carbon? Carbon has changed into CO2. So here addition of oxygen has taken place. So that is the oxidation. So carbon is getting oxidized whereas PbO is getting reduced. Next one, MnO2 plus 4HCl gives MnCl2 plus H2O plus Cl2. So first check MnO2. What has happened to MnO2? MnO2 is changed into MnCl2, right? Removal of oxygen. MnO2, oxygen was there, but MnCl2, oxygen is not there. So again, removal of oxygen. What is that? So MnO2 is undergoing reduction. Now what happened to HCl? HCl is changed into H2O, right? So here what has happened over here? Addition of oxygen has taken place. So again, addition of oxygen is an oxidation. So here HCl is undergoing oxidation whereas MnO2 is undergoing reduction. Okay. So thank you everyone. So we have discussed only small number of questions, several numerous number of previously asked questions that you will get from your when your different sites are there where you can download lot of previously asked questions. Try to solve it. If any kind of doubt is coming, contact me, clear it and study well for your examinations. Best of luck, my dear children.